sound of the vuvuzela means it is time for the Get More Sports World Tour Soccer Podcast. I am EJ Carr, and have we got a show for you this week? Tons of plays and predictions going on. Plenty of contests and tournaments going on all around the world right now, of course, with the Women's World Cup, Copa America, the U.S. Open Cup. Oh, boy, North American Soccer League's getting their fall portion of their campaign started this weekend as well. Oh, boy. Copa America and the U.S. Open Cup has been a blast. It's amazing to see all this soccer going on. Of course, all the European leagues are in, getting ready for their campaign here in August, and that's not stopping anyone in Europa League from getting their week started. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how many people have actually taken the time to open their Europa League match schedule for the next couple days here. And yowza, we have got ourselves just a couple of games, just a couple. I mean, man, so many games that, so of course, we got to start this show off by giving it up to the U.S. women's team for taking out Germany with a big 2-0 win. Yeah, say it with me, USA, baby. Gotta love it. Of course, USA and Germany came into the World Cup, favored. Both of those two were expected to be there in the end. Of course, if you meet in the semifinals, you can't both be there. So the U.S. women's team will be there. Obviously, big match coming up here, of course, with Japan and England, which should be later on tonight at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And, of course, the loser of that will be playing Germany in the consolation game on July 3rd. And, boy, how concerned – I'm sorry, that would be July 4th. July 5th, Sunday, the USA team will take on the winner of Japan versus England. I was going to say, boy, imagine if the USA game was being played on July 4th. Yeah. Not to say the U.S. team's not going to be favored against either Japan or England, whichever one goes through. But, here we go. USA, U.S. team's obviously going to win. I know I did an interview with Christy Rampone here right before the Cup started on my Sports Palooza network, and I have a nice quote from her saying, we're going to do pretty well this year. Yeah, I can't wait to retweet that and say, Christy, you told us all it was going to happen, and you did a damn good job. Oh, boy, fantastic stuff. That's just, of course, no mystery here that we're in America and we're rooting for Team USA up in Canada. And the finals, of course, will be played at BC Place up in Vancouver. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I'll tell you a personal story. I was actually at the bookstore last night with my wife working, and it was nice and quiet. Everybody was just going about their business. I don't know if anybody ever, because Barnes & Noble is not just a bookstore. It's a place where you can actually hang out and get your work done with tables all set up and all that. And boy, when the U.S. team scored first, I stood up and jumped up. Goal! And next thing I know, there's about 30 people looking at me like, what is wrong with this guy? And I just said, sorry, everybody. The U.S. women just scored to make it 1-0 against Germany. Please forgive me. And, of course, everybody pretty much just put their head down and said, okay, that's fine. Yeah, because I got it like that. I have no problem being a vocal guy. If anybody knows me, yeah. Should check my Twitter feed out to see some of the stuff that goes on at the Cosmos games when we have some home games. Of course, I attended the New York City Cosmos Open Cup match at Stewart Stadium. I have some fantastic video of us burning the New York City scarf, walking out to the stadium in full throat and support, and then to go to a shootout the way it did. Woo! Man, fantastic. Of course, the Cosmos are going to be facing the Red Bulls. Actually, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here because I want to start with the U.S. Women's Cup. The Japan-England game, I saw this total was only 2. Yeah, listen, any England game that goes on, I'm going to take an over anyway. So to see it sitting at only 2 and actually getting plus 105 on the action, yeah, there's going to be 2 goals in that game. I don't care. Japan's not winning this 1-0. Sorry, not going to happen. Yeah, even if it is 1-1, they have to go to shootouts. It's fine with me. It's that's a push on the 2. I have no problem pushing any kind of a 2. Thank you very much. So, who's going to win that match? That's much tougher to predict. It's a pretty even game, to be honest with you. I know the line setters are we all know where the line setters are pointing here. It's amazing to see what's going to end up happening. Of course, Japan's favored at plus 120, and England's like you can get England at like plus 285 to come out of this match in 90 minutes with a win, which is pretty outrageous. England's playing pretty well, obviously, and I just again I do not see some 1-0 Japan win. It's just it's not going to happen. I know Japan tries to keep everybody down, and they got through the Netherlands, of course, with a 2-1 win, but this is not going to be a 1-0 game. We saw England take out Canada on their own soil with 2 goals. And, man, I can't remember the last time England didn't score 2 goals. I think they've scored 2 goals in almost every game in this cup. So I certainly expect England to find a way to come out of here. I personally think it's going to be England versus USA. I just don't think the Japan team can take out England. So we'll see what happens, though. It'd be a nice handicap. It'd be a nice the pick and the draw no bet handicap. You could probably get a pretty good price on that. I haven't really actually checked into it yet, only because I was really only going to suggest a total on that play. But as I open my board right now, I'm going to just go look and see what kind of price you can get on England to the pick and the draw no bet. And looks like you can get about plus 160, plus 150, plus 170. I guess it depends on what sports book you use. But on the average, I'm seeing about plus 160, plus 165 on England to find a way to come out of here with a result. Like I said, even if it is a draw and it's 1-1 going to extras, okay, no problem. I mean, I have no problem pushing both of those bets. I will recommend England to on the pick and the draw no bet at a plus 160, plus 170, somewhere in there, and the over 2 at plus 105. That's one of the benefits about listening to this Rainmaker guy. Oh, yeah, let me make sure you know who you're talking to. Oh, I lost my Rainmaker thing, so I can't even do that. All right. Yeah, that's, I am the Rainmaker. It's a nickname I've had since I've been a handicapper at Bound Best back in 2009, 2010, 2011, all that. I was there for a while. It's certainly something I love doing here, giving out some plays. So, all right, let's move on. I do want to discuss this U.S. Open Cup tonight because there's some big matches going on. Of course, all 4 home teams found their way through. And yesterday's 4 matches, and the Cosmos will be taking on the Red Bulls again. For those of you who remember last year, the Cosmos found a way through with a 3-0 win at Short Stadium. Of course, now these 2 are going to be going to Red Bull Arena. And, that's a tough match. Of course, Red Bulls are favored at home. They're the MLS team, and they're home. You know me. Of course, you all know by now I host the Into the Cosmos podcast, and I'm not just a podcaster for the Cosmos. I'm one of their biggest fans as well. There's no mystery about it. You can actually get this Cosmos plus 1 at like minus 120. I actually took it on Monday when the lines first came out, and I was like, I got minus 110 for the Cosmos with the plus 1. Yeah, the Red Bulls are not beating the Cosmos by 2 goals. That will not happen. I almost want to come out and say, you know what, I'll walk from Cosmos Stadium to Red Bull Arena in a green Tom. How you like them apples? Yeah, that's how convinced I am the Red Bull. So the Red Bulls got by New York City this weekend. Yeah, big deal. Don't care. Not impressed. Okay, they snapped their 4-game losing streak. Ooh. I have no respect for the Red Bulls at all. None. And then obviously with Lawrence Hand being out of that lineup as well, he certainly makes a difference. That's a definite detriment to that team. They're going to put Reversio on Wright Phillips, and Wright Phillips is going to have absolutely no influence on this match whatsoever. I'm telling you right now, Wright Phillips is not scoring a goal. Not going to happen. So without Wright Phillips in that lineup, he's in the lineup, but he's not going to have any influence on how this goes down. So that Cosmos plus 1 at minus 120 or so, whatever time you get it in, put it in there. I love the Cosmos there. Plus 1. Like I said, the Red Bulls are not beating the Cosmos by 2 goals. Won't happen. Not going to happen. All right. I hope someone doesn't keep me to that. That's the big one, right? Of course, there's a couple other games in the U.S. Open Cup tonight. I like 2 overs. There's two totals here I like in the U.S. Open Cup with Sporting Kansas City and Dallas. Yeah. Dallas, I'm sorry. 2.5 at minus 1. That total is also minus 110. Really? So you're telling me the Sporting Kansas City FC Dallas game isn't going to be 2-1 somehow? Thank you, line setters. You dropped the ball. That game's going to be like 2-2, 3-3. Those 2 are going to go crazy. I personally believe there's going to be plenty of goals. Now, there should be 2 goals by halftime. They're probably looking at a 1-1 situation going into the second half. Someone's definitely finding that third goal. And I feel the same way about the San Jose-LA game, with a rematch of this weekend's game. Of course, the San Jose-LA game this weekend happened at Stanford Stadium, and this one's going to be happening at Avaya Stadium, of course, the new San Jose Stadium out there in California. And, of course, the best part about that San Jose Avaya Stadium is, you know what I'm going to say, the biggest bar in North American soccer. And I still have got, I'm actually going out to LA in September, and San Jose in that area, somewhere up there. I'm going to try and see. I know the Galaxy are at home that weekend. I might be catching an LA Galaxy game while I'm out there in September, but I certainly want to be at San Jose's Avaya Stadium holding the beer. Greatest outdoor venue bar in North America. Man, love it. But I love that total. I think that, those two played to a 3-1 match in the first meeting. And if you read my previews over at Diamond Sportsbook, you see I played that over. Have you seen a Galaxy game recently? My God, man. 6 goals against PSA Elite, and then 5 goals the week after, and 5 goals again. And then they give up 3 to San Jose this past weekend. And now these two are getting together again. And what, Vegas doesn't think that these two, it's plus 105 on the over 2.5. Vegas doesn't think that these two are going to score again? Really? Thank you. I appreciate that. My God. I can't even believe I'm staring at that line. I really can't. Plus 105 on the over 2.5 in San Jose. Thank you. All right. You know what? I mentioned how many games there are in Europa League. I'm actually staring at the board right now going, hey, what am I supposed to do, count these? You can't count these games. Way too many games to count. And what a schedule. And of course, the hardest part about getting together with all these games is that a lot of these teams have never met. Now, early qualification in Europa League. I went through almost every one of these games, hand by hand, just going down each list and looking at the recent matchups and looking at how they, some of these teams are already playing in their leagues. Some of these teams haven't played for a month, as they're, and of course none of these are major clubs. Everybody in Europa League, which takes place tomorrow in qualification, of course, is, a lot of these teams, a lot of people may not seem familiar with them, and I get it. I mean, it's, there's certainly a bunch of teams, all of Georgia and Cyprus, Azerbaijan, and Georgia, Estonia, Macedonia, Bulgaria, Belarus. I mean, there's a lot of of course, the European nature of all these clubs is certainly on a different level than Bundesliga, Serie A, and Premier League, of course. But, there's so many matches here, again. And I certainly want to recommend a few plays here. I was actually surprised that Elfsborg was only minus 110 to get by Lahti out of Finland. Elfsborg, we know, usually finds a way to go deep in this event. And I assume that they're going to take this serious, even though their season hasn't started yet. But to see Elfsborg should be able to sneak by Lahti somehow. At minus 110 on a 3-way line, I think Elfsborg's going to find a way to sneak through them. And, there's another total out there I like a lot. The Dynamo Batumi and Ammonia out of Cyprus. Boy, another line. It's a 2.5 line. And I know there's a lot of people out there predicting the under in this one. I don't see why. I just don't see why. These two are going to hook up, and I imagine that we're going to see a handful of goals here. So, all we need is 2-1, of course, with an over 2.5. And I like it. I like it a lot. I actually think Ammonia is going to find a way to get by them as well. And they're only minus 115 to get by Batumi on the 3-way line as well. I mean, at minus 115, okay. I can be convinced to take that play. In fact, I'm staring at it right now, and it's already in my book. So, yeah, I do have it. What else do we have here? Oh, my God. Like I said, there's so many matches to go over. And boy. All right. Trnava and Sarajevo are getting together. And who's going to score and how? I like this under. I don't think anybody's going to score in this match. I think it's going to be nothing for, close to 65 minutes. I think if there's really a good bet out there, maybe for that match, when the goal will be scored, maybe, because it's going to come after the hour mark. I certainly don't see the first half with anybody scoring in the first half. If it's 1-0 at the end of the first half, I'm going to be shocked. I just don't see these two scoring at all, especially in how they prepared so far, what you've seen from what they've done coming into the match. I just don't see a lot of goals being scored there. So that under 2.5 at about minus 115 or so makes a lot of sense to me. Sconto and St. Patrick's of Ireland. You can actually get this over 2 and 2.5 on the handicap line. Of course, if it's a 2, 2 and 2.5, most people know how the handicap works. I think there's going to be a couple goals there too. I'm not really intimidated by the 1-1 score. I think they're going to find a way to find the third goal, but I didn't actually put the 2.5 in. I played the 2 and 2.5 handicap. Just a little bit of a safety net there, at least get half my money back if things go wrong. But I certainly think there's going to be 3 goals there. I just didn't play it that way. I think I see the 2 and 2.5 coming in nicely. But I'm always one that'll certainly put in the safety net wherever there's a spot to do it. Just because, you probably heard me say here a couple times over the course of the season, you can save yourself a good chunk of change over the course of a year by playing the handicap lines. Because a half play here, a half loss here, a half win there, it all adds up in the long run, and I like those kind of plays. So I'm going to stick to my guns there. Just go with the over 2 and 2.5 at Sconto and St. Patrick's and at playing at Lafayette. And how many goals? Oh boy, this Debrecen Sitijevska. Oh my God, how many goals? Debrecen. I don't know how many people have seen Debrecen and how they're preparing for their season so far. They're getting killed by it. They're getting killed. They're man. I saw the Sitijevska +1 also at even money. There's no way this Debrecen team is going to find a way to just outscore Sitijevska by 3 goals or 2 goals. I certainly think it's going to be at least a 2-1 match here. And something tells me that Sitijevska is going to find a way to hang around with them most of the day. So I took the over 3 at +125. I actually moved it up from 2.5 because I'm not a big fan of juice. I didn't want to pay the -115 or -125 on the straight 2.5. So I moved it right to 3. Got +125 on the action, and I took the Sitijevska +1 also at even money, like I mentioned, and I love that play. I certainly a 2-1 game waiting to happen at the very worst, and if that result comes in again, you know what, pushing both plays for me when I have those kind of lines on the board is no problem. So if it ends 2-1, it ends 2-1. No harm, no foul. Sheriff Tarsal, playing odd. When I saw Sharif playing odd, I couldn't get this over in quick enough. I think there's going to be plenty of goals there. Obviously, Sharif is going to find a way to get plenty of their goals in this match. The over 2.5 is only -110 or so, and why wouldn't you play that? I think there's going to be plenty of goals scored in that game. Where are we here? Wow, boy, Vikinger and Rosenborg as well. That total I moved to a straight 3 as well. I wasn't about to pay the -135 for the straight 2.5. So I decided to move that total up to 3 at +105. I see goals there. Again, if it's a 2-1 situation, we know what Rosenborg's done. How many times in the last couple of years have you seen a Rosenborg match end 2-1 or 3-1 or 3-2? It's just always a high-scoring affair with them. And with that in mind, and just a reflection of the recent history in the Europa League, I see goals. So again, I moved that line up to 3 and got a +105 for my trouble. And I'll suggest that here on the show. I certainly think that we're going to find the 3 goals we need to at least push that action. Newton, I saw Newton and Valletta playing. Man, it's another total where I really love that. The Wales club, Newtown, or you want to call them Newtown, we'll call them Newton. You call them whatever you want to call them. They're playing Valletta out of Malta, and that over 2.5 screaming out at me at -110. I love it, absolutely love it. There's obviously always some surprises here. There's got to be a surprise somewhere in the long run. The one place I really see one coming, even though it's not that much of a surprise, is to see Slask Warklaw out of Poland. What are they doing on the pick handicap line there with a draw no bet at only like -125? For me personally, I never get above 135 or 140. For anybody who's ever read any of my previews over at Diamonds, I refuse. I don't work for Tropicana, and juice is not my friend. So to see the -125 there is a pretty reasonable price to expect Warklaw to get by Sochi there. I certainly think that there's some value there, even though the line isn't exactly all that friendly. But Warclaw is certainly going to get by the Slovenian club. So minus 125, there's certainly room for some action there as well. So Europa League for me is certainly always a league where totals come to mind. For most of us who know that you followed Europa League in the last couple of years, you know that we usually see a good chunk of goals here, whether it's because teams don't take it seriously or they're putting their second club out there, and a lot of mistakes can happen from guys that don't normally see the regular season action. To see, the Glen Toran and Zilna in Slovakia. Glen Toran and Zilna. Over 3. Yeah. Oh, my God, how many goals? I'm sorry, that total is going to fly in. I expect that play to be hit by halftime. I think it will be about, I really do think it will be 2-1 by halftime, and we'll just be looking for one more goal to cash that ticket outright. But there's certainly going to be a good chunk of goals there. I personally just can't see how there won't be. And, that'll about cover it. I don't want to go too crazy here in the Europa League because I can't hand out 50 plays for the 8,000 games that are on the board. But those are just some of the ones that stood out to me as we enter the qualification stage with all these, lower tier clubs in Europe. And of course, I can understand the concern. I really wouldn't play these as big as you normally play. I mean, if you're somebody who normally puts a couple $100 on each play, maybe you only play them at $100 a pop just so you feel more comfortable. Because, if you're someone who just likes to put $100 on a game, maybe cut it in half this weekend just because of the unfamiliarity with these teams. I get it. Hopefully I give it the best advice I can give anybody out here. But, I love the early stages of Europa League. For those of you who know, I track all my plays over at oddsportal.com, and I picked 78 Europa League games last year, and I did pretty damn well. I think I only missed 28 games. I posted it on my Twitter feed, but I ended up deleting it because I didn't really recognize if anybody noticed it. And more often than not, if I don't see anybody at least favorite or retweet one of my comments about the predictions I make, then I usually just erase it after a while because it's, what's the point of having it there if no one's going to come out and say, hey, man, thanks for the help or good job. Or, not that I expect anybody to blow sunshine up my ass. I really don't care, but all right, let's get to the Copa America here a little bit because I certainly, to see Paraguay get by, man, what a game. What a game. And to see that Paraguay is a pick with the draw no bet handicap at plus 120 against Peru. How does Paraguay not ride the momentum of taking out this? How do you not ride that momentum? I get that they over-celebrate a little bit, and it's certainly something I usually have a concern with. It's almost like when a team wins a semifinal game. Not to say that, this obviously they're at the semifinals of that event now. I'm talking about like in baseball or hockey or any other kind of league when a team wins, they earn their right to get to the final game, but they celebrate like they already won the World Series. I hate that kind of stuff. It's like, hello, there's more work to do. What are you doing celebrating, going absolutely berserk for when you haven't even done anything yet? A victory is a victory. Act like you've been there before. And that kind of stuff bugs me. But, I still think Paraguay is going to find a way to get by Peru, so that pick in the draw no bet handicap line is about plus 120. Okay. Where's the harm in that? Again, even if they do go 1-1 to extra time in a shootout situation over there, okay, you know what? Again, no harm, no foul. I'll get my money back and I'll live to see another day. I have absolutely no problem with that. All right, I want to sneak over. There's a play in the MLS I'm already putting in for this weekend, and I'm not even going to waste any time with. We saw Houston get by, advance in the U.S. Open Cup with a 1-0 win, and we see Chicago playing them this weekend in Houston. In case you missed it, Chicago Fire have certainly got away with playing nobody in the U.S. Open Cup yet. It's amazing they're in the Elite Eight. How the hell is Chicago Fire? In case you missed it, the Chicago Fire stink. They're terrible. So to see Houston is plus 125 right now on the three-way line. I'm sure that line will come down to plus 120 or plus 115 as the week goes on because Houston's going to kick their ass. I have Tyler Derrick, and you don't. I'll take Tyler Derrick in net any time, especially against the Chicago club who has no damn clue what they're doing. Getting by Charlotte. It's amazing how Charlotte even got there themselves in the U.S. Open Cup. You're talking about a USL team that's like 10th in the Eastern Division, playing terrible football. I think they have like 15 points to 11 matches. Like, bleh. Chicago's been so lucky that they haven't had to play anybody yet. And of course, whoever they run into next in the next round of the U.S. Open Cup, Chicago's done. I mean, it's over. So I'm already putting in the Houston Dynamo on the three-way line at plus 125 because it's there. I mean, I'm not going to wait. What are you going to wait for? You know what? I think that's about it. I mean, there's other stuff out there I guess we could kind of discuss, but yeah, we're pretty much almost at the half-hour point here. Handed out a good chunk of plays. Obviously, there's some serious competitions going on everywhere. And again, I won't be back until next Wednesday, so I certainly want to wish the U.S. women all the success in the world. I mean, go USA. Man, that's awesome. I mean, that's just awesome. I really hope they win it again. It would be great to see. We're all rooting for them here, and I'm sure everybody at Get More Sports is hoping that they find their way through. Everybody, I mean, it's all the Twitter feeds, and I'm seeing everybody just posting how happy they are for the women. It's fantastic. And for some of you who missed, I actually had the goalkeeper from the Indy 11, Christian Neat. We had him on the show this week, and he was talking. He was so happy. I was talking to him about his Twitter feed because he was like, I'm so glad that the U.S. women's team got by China so the German team can kick their ass in the semifinals. How'd that go for you? Yeah. Careful what you wish for. Oh, I absolutely love it. Yeah, I had some fun with him. Feel free to check the New York Cosmos homepage, check the fan podcast section, and you'll see all of our shows there. So it's fun. All right, let's get everybody out of here. I hope you have some success with the plays we offered. And again, I understand why anybody would take all the Europa League action a little lightly this week. Don't go too crazy, please, just because it's all these teams are playing each other basically for the first time ever. I mean, and that's certainly a factor when you've never met before. You don't know much about them. We're talking about clubs from completely different leagues who have never met before. So, all right, let's get out of here. I totally appreciate everybody who's taking the time to listen to the Get More Sports World Tour Soccer podcast. We'll catch you next Wednesday right here, and you know what we're going to leave you with? The sound of the Vuvuzela.